I first heard about purity when I was in middle school. Purity was presented to me as being heavily tied to abstinence. Modest is hottest.
Virginity makes you more valuable. Women are responsible for man's lust.
Pornography is just a man's issue. You shouldn't date.
At my first purity retreat, I can't believe it, but they compared your purity to a perfectly wrapped gift box. And did you want to give your husband on your wedding night a ripped apart, shredded box? Seeing people personally hurt by those statements, I'm glad Across My Heart doesn't use that.
Like many of you, I grew up in the purity movement of the 1990s and early 2000s, and unfortunately, I now realize that it carried a lot of unintended messages. But here at Across My Heart Ministries, we want to reclaim the word purity, because it's a word that's used to not only describe our sexual integrity, but also our relationship with God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. I understand what the purity movement was trying to accomplish. I feel their heart was in the right place. They just didn't do the best job communicating it. If modest is hottest is the goal, you're missing the point. Purity isn't just abstinence. Virgins aren't more valuable. Virginity is ours to lose, but purity is God's to give. Purity means passionately pursuing the heart of God with your whole self. Purity is holistic, relationally, mentally, emotionally, physically. It affects all of you. When you're living a pure life, you don't hold anything back from God, including your sexuality. We believe that purity and the way that we live out our sexuality allows us to walk more closely with God, to see Him clearly when we don't allow the baggage of sexual sin in this world to bring us down. When we don't muddy our vision with the things of this world, but can see God clearly because our first love and our focus is Him.
I didn't actually grow up in the purity movement of the 90s and the early 2000s. My first purity retreat experience was actually Across My Heart Ministries, and I'm so thankful that it was because it really captures God's heart for purity. I still wear my purity ring because I understand what it's about. I got my purity ring when I was 13 years old, and my parents talked to me about what it meant to be pure, and I honestly don't remember them even talking about abstinence. I remember them discussing how I can use my words and my emotions in a way that is pure in the relationships that I'm in. And when I was 14 years old, I went to an Across My Heart retreat. So I'm really glad and really grateful that the messages that I heard about purity reflected God's heart. We hope that as a team, we communicate a message that offers hope to those who are struggling with brokenness in their sexuality. It's our desire that we'll communicate this message in a way that shows the redemptive power of Christ's love.